Alrighty guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at the shrine for yet another week in a row. So let's have a little bit of a look. First perk and foremost is Balanced Landing. Balanced Landing is a teachable unlocked by Nia at level 30. This allows you to fall from a great height while making no sound indicator and no crunch when you land. It also gives you almost no stutter when you land. Normally a survivor will hit, when they land, they'll have to take about 1.5 seconds to ramp up to 100% movement speed. With Balanced Landing, that is reduced by 75%. So there's about a 0.3 second stun when you fall from a height, which is good to know because there's no sound indicator, there's no clunk when you hit the ground, as opposed to how loud some people are when they are doing these animations. You also then get 150% movement speed, and you're allowed to run at 150% movement speed for 3 seconds, and then it goes on exhaustion cooldown. You don't get to time it, it's the second your feet touch the ground, so keep that in mind when you fall from a height. The good thing to note about this perk is it removes sound cues from falling. That's very important. A good killer that it knows the map really well will be able to use sound cues against you, and you've got to be very mindful of how you play around with your cards. So it can be very smart if you use it well. You don't need to sprint burst away, you can just use the silent fall factor of it. However, while this perk is on cooldown, when you fall from a great height, you will make a noise. So keep that in mind. It only works once, and it has a 60, 50, or 40 second cooldown, depending on how many times you found it in your blood web. Now, if you're wondering what that means, every time this perk will appear in your blood web, once you've unlocked the teachable via purchasing it through the shrine, through in-game currency, which is iridescent shards, which you get for leveling up your player every time you level, or through leveling Nia up to level 30, which should cost you just shy of 800,000 blood points. Either way, when you unlock it, it becomes a permanent teachable that could possibly roll when you level up your character. Then you have to find it once, twice, and 3 times to level it up through RNG, through the shrine, through the blood web. Ignore that shrine belt part. Sorry. Alright, so it's not a bad perk. Realistically, it's cute, I'm not gonna lie. It's too situational based on the fact you don't know what map you're going to, but if you get Balanced Landing on a map like the Mountain or a map like Hattonfield, you're gonna be in a very strong powerhouse place. So as long as you're gonna be playing and offering to a good map, I can highly recommend this. If you're just running this perk and you get a map like Sheltered Woods, there are 2 drop downs on that map that can be very difficult to utilize, one being the tree in the middle of the map, the other being the basement. So just keep in mind that you can put yourself in a really sticky situation trying to use this, unless you're going for a basement borrowed time save with the sprint burst benefit from Balanced Landing after landing from the fall above the basement. All in all, I wouldn't recommend the perk unless you were playing an offering for the map, or a map that benefits heights. Botany Knowledge. Now, Botany Knowledge is actually a hidden gem. So what does Botany Knowledge do? Basically, it increases your healing speed, both on yourself, with your hands, with a medkit. It does not stack with Will Make It. Will Make It is capped at 100%. It also stacks while healing others. So this allows you to heal 11, 22, and 33% at a faster rate. So a little bit of math for you is it takes 32 seconds to self-care. 32 seconds, you're looking at cutting 3 seconds off per 10% roughly, so you're looking at cutting 9 seconds off that. So that's actually a long-ass time when you think about it, plus a little bit of extra percentages there too. So you're going to be healing in about 21. You could be landing great skill checks, possibly even 20 seconds, which just shows you the benefit of Botany Knowledge. With a medkit, you're going to be healing at a much faster rate as well. If you run a green medkit with the gel dressing and an abdominal dressing with Botany Knowledge, you can heal in approximately 6 seconds without a skill check. That is a very fast heal. The con to that is you can only heal once, possibly twice if you run different add-ons, and it'll be a little bit of a longer heal, but that is actually quite easy to do, 6 seconds while in chase and maneuvering around jungle gyms, especially if you can mind game the killer a little bit. So do keep in mind, this is a Claudette teachable perk, unlocked at I believe level 35 because self-care is at level 40. I do recommend this perk for both experienced players and new players. By itself, it isn't a good perk if you don't know what you're doing. It doesn't stack as in an aura like Leader would. So if I had Leader and Botany Knowledge, when Jeff heals me, he's only getting the effect from Leader. Botany Knowledge is a perk for an individual player to be able to use. Therefore, I can heal faster while co-oping. It's all about saving other people and healing other people, but it doesn't stack with Will Make It, keep in mind, but it is permanently activated through the trial and can be utilized on yourself. Actually a pretty good perk if you bring a medkit in, or if you wanted to bring self-care, but now you're sacrificing 2 slots for 1 slot's job, but it's your decision. Would I purchase the perk? I would not, based on the fact that it's not a DLC perk, neither is Balanced Landing, so these 2 perks can be found in the ordinary game, much like this one on the far left, A Nurse's Calling. Now the next perk we're looking at is called Make Your Choice. Make Your Choice is a teachable unlocked by the pig at level 40. This is actually a really strong perk that you don't see many people utilize. Now, what I'm going to be telling you guys, you might have a bit of a giggle at, but if we're going to be looking at how strong Make Your Choice is, there's one killer that excels phenomenally well with Make Your Choice, and there's a lot of killers that are great with it. Who is a killer that's great with it? Realistically, I would never run it on this killer, or very rarely. Maybe I'd run it for a little bit of a joke, but the Hillbilly. Hillbilly moves at 230% movement speed, and if somebody hook saves while you're outside of 32 meters, it should take you approximately 2.5 to 3 seconds to get back to the hook. I would not recommend this perk for a Hillbilly based on the fact you have a 2.2 second instant down anyways. However, it just shows you players that can get around the board are very strong with this perk. Therefore, rather than Billy, look at somebody like Freddy Krueger. Freddy Krueger can teleport from generator to generator and can get around the board at a very fast rate. Fender Grows, welcome back in for the 23 months, beautiful.
Months. So close to 2 years.
It's good to have
you. Well, Goose.
I'm great, thank you, darling. It's good to have you back. I will be with you momentarily. I'm just going to try and quickly... That didn't cut. Okay. So anyways, Make Your Choice is actually a really strong perk based on the fact it's going to allow you to instant down whoever did the hook saving. They're going to know they have Make Your Choice on them from two things. They will see a symbol to the right-hand side of their screen. They're going to scream, and blood is going to pour out of their fingertips. So if you are the person being saved, and you heard Feng Min scream, and blood's coming out of her hands, you know that the killer currently has Make Your Choice. It's also really good on a Death Slinger, because he can remove his heartbeat, or have a very small heartbeat at 16 meters with an 18-meter shot. It also can be lowered with add-ons while you're ADSing. You've also got other choices like Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger getting around the board with no heartbeat. Keep that in mind, that having an instant down on him for 40, 50, and 60 seconds is very strong. But the MVP person with Make Your Choice, I mean, the Wraith is also really good. It just shows you that so many killers can utilize this, whether they can one-hit down a survivor or whether they can't one-hit down a survivor. It is a great perk on Nurse, a decent perk on Spirit. The issue with this perk is it kind of makes you want to come back to the hook. But sometimes that's the right call, sometimes that's the wrong call. Sometimes you want to let them heal at the hook while you're applying pressure to Gen so you can get your Pop Goes the Weasel out, chase somebody else. But the person who excels the most with Make Your Choice is none other than the Hag. Now, the Hag can teleport 40 meters, and if somebody triggers a Hag trap, it lasts for about 2.5 to 3 seconds. Therefore, if they trigger your trap and they do the save, you're going to get a notification that they have it. Then you can press the control key, teleport straight to them, and down them in one hit. This is a fantastic perk for the Hag. Having the form of a one-hit down on a killer that doesn't have a one-hit down that can teleport around the board with a penalty of 110% movement speed, it just shows you it is very efficient and effective. I want to quickly put a disclaimer out here. It does not work on your M2s. Your M2s are your special abilities, therefore a Pig Dash, a Demogorgon Shred. It will work from a Nurse's Blink because her damage is from an M1, not from an M2. And you're also looking at... There was somebody else on the tip of my tongue just then. Anyone who does an on-hit effect, it won't work on. So just keep this in mind. You're going to have to M1 them down. If it's activated, you could just, stand up as a pig and M1. Don't feel like you have to go for a dash or an ambush attack. Good perk. Would I recommend purchasing it? Yes, it is a DLC perk. Right, of course, the last one I was thinking about was the Huntress. I knew it slipped my mind. So the Huntress throwing an axe across the board, Make Your Choice will not be a one-hit down. That is an iridescent head add-on, which is a pink add-on, which gives you 1 hatchet down from 5, and you can run an infantry belt to have 3 hatchets. Also known as some of the strongest add-ons in the game for certain players. Make Your Choice, great perk, highly recommend it, would buy it if you're a killer main. If you're not a killer main, you could probably pass up not getting it, but if you don't want to purchase many of the killer DLCs, this is good on most of the stock standard killers in the game as well. So I would actually get Make Your Choice too if I was sitting in a place where I didn't want to purchase DLCs. Moving on to the next perk, we've got A Nurse's Calling. A Nurse's Calling is a very good perk for a lot of people that struggle with situational awareness and rotation. I'm not saying in any way, if that is you, you should run this perk. You could get away with not running this perk or running this perk, depending on how a couple of things go for you.
Woot woot.
Lee Kajit, thank you for coming in with the 7 months, man. Welcome back in. Alright, so if we're looking at A Nurse's Calling, I'll be with you in 1 minute, man. If we're looking at A Nurse's Calling, it has a 28-meter... aura when it's leveled up. So it's 20 meters by default, it's 24 meters by tier 2, it's 28 meters at tier 3. This allows you to see a survivor healing another survivor or a survivor being healed. This will tell you where multiple people are. This perk is phenomenal on a killer that can remove their heartbeat or hide their heartbeat or even lower their heartbeat. So somebody like Ghostface, great perk on him. Do I run it on Ghostface? No, I don't. I'd rather Discordance for mass situational awareness towards objective rather than targets healing. it would be a great perk on Nurse, being able to blink through walls, move to defenses. Even a Hillbilly at 230% movement speed, chainswing around the board, you're going to see somebody healing by the time your 32-meter heartbeat gets in between them, because you're moving at, you know, twice the movement speed per second, so even faster than that. Great perk. I highly recommend Nurse's Calling. The issue here is a Nurse's Calling is a Nurse teachable unlocked at level 40. Now, Nurse is notoriously known as the hardest killer in the game. She's also notoriously known as the best killer in the game when it comes to no add-ons. With add-ons, I believe the Spirit is more superior than the Nurse, but without add-ons, it also comes down to map RNG. Of course, a Nurse on Lares isn't going to perform as well as a Spirit on Lares, but then again, neither of those two killers really fancies those maps. It just shows you it can be very difficult depending. And with a Nurse, you need to learn a lot of the sound indicators in the game to be able to come in with those mind games and those cutoffs. Nurse's Calling. Great perk. So while a teammate is healing another teammate, 28 meters, you can see them. Keep in mind somebody like Michael Myers. Michael Myers is a 16 meter tear radius by default in stage 2. You can run Modern Abuse, making that 16 meter tear radius lowered down to 8 meters. You can then run an add-on referred to as the Dead Rabbit, which will reduce your heartbeat while in tier 2 by an additional 2 meters, which is 25% at 8, and it will increase your heartbeat in tier 3 by an additional 25% as well. Therefore, you have a 6 meter heartbeat. You have a 6 meter heartbeat, and you can see people healing 28 meters away. Therefore, there is a 22 meter gap before they even hear the smallest bit of a heartbeat. So that just shows you how strong this perk can actually be on certain killers. Even somebody like the Hag with Modern Abuse, your 24 meter heartbeat is now 16 meters. You can see them healing 28 meters away. You're short, so you're well hidden, and you've also got a 40 meter blink or a teleport, depending if they trigger a trap. So it's actually a really strong perk under the right situations. Like I said, the con with this perk is it is required level 40 on the Nurse. For you to get to level 40 on the Nurse, it'll cost you a little bit of money. Anywhere between 800 and 1.2 million is roughly what it should cost you. Depending on how lucky you are, you might get it for cheaper. If you go for the expensive webs, you might get it a little bit more expensive. It just depends on how you're looking at it. So keeping in mind, that is a lot of money and a lot of time in Dead by Daylight to invest in being able to unlock this perk, because it is very far for the Nurse. So it isn't a bad option to go for the teachable as well.
It's all out of love though, Fungoose. Cheers.
Saurus Crane, thank you for the 8 months as well. Guys, thank you so much for all the support. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just going to quickly finish up with this video and I'll be with you momentarily. So guys, if you're enjoying this video, don't hesitate to hit that follow button. I do stream DBD live on Twitch, as you can see these beautiful people coming in right now. I do stream DBD live on Twitch 5 days a week, and it'll be a pleasure to have you guys come in. If you think you know everything about DBD, you can help me teach the people that don't. And if you think you want to learn a couple of things, it'll be my pleasure to help you learn those couple of things. My name is Fungoose. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight killer main, and I will see you in the next video. Take care and have a great